Welcome back, Power Pellet Podcast, episode number 12. Today is July 29th. It's a Tuesday. I'm your co-host, Davench, here with my co-host brother, a.k.a. Slash. Nah, we got the same mother. What up, AkimboMerc?
What's up, baby? It's good to be back. We recorded on a Tuesday, which is a little bit break from the norm. You know what I'm saying? We're a day early for y'all, just for y'all.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I rage quit last night, Davench.
You let's do a little bit of housekeeping before we
I need to talk about this. Listen, let me get this out of my system first. I'm not going to even rant about it. So I'm playing The Last of Us, and we getting smashed. Just getting hammered, dog. And I got one of my guys on it that I usually game with. I'm gonna call his name out. I got Wavo out there with me, right? And so Wavo just bought the game, so he like a level 7 or 8. And Wavo, he hanging.
Yeah.
All right, he doing his best. Now, right. I'm a level 200, just to give you an idea of the difference.
Yeah.
Okay? And we just out there, we just getting our heads beat in, man. Room after room. They keep bringing in new members, man. And I just rage quit, dog. I just turned it off. And look, I turned it off and went and watched the episode on Netflix about deers. I had to cool down. I was like, I'm gonna watch this episode about deers. Y'all ain't gonna ruin me.
So eventually, Last of Us wasn't even in your system no more.
Nah, Last of Us wasn't even in my system, man. I just straight rage quit, man. But what's in your system, sir?
I went and picked up The Last of Us for the PS4 today, so I got the chance to play it for about an hour and a half.
Now, what did you play? Just a single player?
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not gonna touch the multiplayer like that until I finish the campaign or get a decent chunk of it. So, yeah, just been playing that, and then I didn't get a chance to finish off playing Destiny like I wanted to because of real life. But
right.
Other than that, man, just a little bit of The Last of Us, and I was looking at it, and the graphics look a lot cleaner from what I remember from the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
And then just reading a couple of reviews, people rating this up there as the top. At least in the top 3 best looking on the PS4, graphic wise. It looks good. I still don't know if it looked better than Infamous. Infamous still got a sparkle in my eye.
Well, I heard something about the frame rate where they allowed you to turn it up or turn it down.
You could play 30 frames like on the PS3, or you can leave it uncontrolled. 60. Yeah. Okay. They don't call it 60. You either lock it in at 30 or you don't. It looks smooth on 60 though.
And that's what I heard though. Yeah. I heard that some people playing on 60 were freaking out because it was always too smooth.
Yeah, it's too real. Like how you get the TVs with the soap opera effect. It's too much.
Yeah, that's too real.
Not to me though. It looked clean. I'm next gen, so I'm used to 60.
You know when I knew it was too real? When my wife and I sat down to watch a movie, and she's like, "What's wrong with the TV?" She's like, "No, you got to fix that." So yeah, I had to turn it down or whatever. But yeah, so I played in my system. I played a little bit more of the Destiny. I beat it. I got to level 8. Played some more of the multiplayer, and I kind of still feel the same way I felt about it before. I'm not overwhelmed with it. I played with some friends this time, so that helped a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping like they improve on some of the things, make the maps bigger, make it more of a.
Nah, it's nothing like that on this. It's literally it took your game, cleaned it up, made it run better, and then put it on the PS4, and you get that new DLC right away with it too.
Okay, cool. All right, well today, y'all, we got
wait, hold on.
What?
Let's do some housekeeping.
Man, listen.
Power Pellet Podcast. Y'all can reach us at powerpelletpodcast@gmail.com. We are also searchable on Twitter. You know how you gonna do your own show? You don't want people to know what they can. Like, I got a show, but I don't care if you contact us about it.
We on episode 12, beta, baby.
You got to do it every episode, like you got new listeners every single show.
All right, so let me do it. I got you. Power Pellet Podcast. We can be found on YouTube, where you can find episodes 1 through 11. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter and on iTunes and on Stitcher and Podomatic. All you have to do is search Power Pellet Podcast. Thank you for listening.
You know what? I might have to take that, and I'm going to clip it in every episode from now on. It's just going to be clean.
guest?
Yes, we finally
All right,
have
so-
an official temporary co-host of the week.
All right, I'm very excited to introduce my friend Majelen. I met Majelen playing Battlefield 3, and you know I was playing so rough, so hard. He was like, "Hey, I need to be on your team," and I was like, "I know, come on with me." So he jumped on my team. Him and I got L. We've been gaming ever since. So Majelen, welcome to the Power Pellet Podcast. I'm happy to have you on. Woo!
Hey, appreciate it.
All right, so Majelen, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Give us your game of cred. What's the first game you remember playing as a kid?
First game I remember playing is the first Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What you remember about it? Tell me about it.
Man, I just remember, I mean, it was just, I think what took me is the fact that it was, you could, in a sense, wander around and make mistakes instead of the typical side scroll.
Right.
And that's what got me, and that's what I've always looked to the games. I know it's not really considered a traditional open world, but that's what caught me. It was like, hey, do what you're going to do, make mistakes, and eventually you'll get on the right path.
Yeah, is Zelda really the first open world? To me, what I remember, yeah, that's really an open world game, ain't it?
Yeah, it had that top down, go wherever you want to go.
Right.
If you can make it, like you said, yeah. Open world, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, did you see Nintendo's coming out with the quote unquote open world version of a Zelda, where it's kind of like a Skyrim almost? Have you seen it? Yeah, it looks amazing.
Absolutely. I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan, and I mean, I got a whole nerd cave dedicated to Legend of Zelda.
Oh, we're gonna need some.
I mean, I got the shield, the sword. I made my own lamp.
You made a lamp.
Which one you prefer on the GameCube, Majora's Mask or I can't think of the other one right now.
The Windbreaker or something like that.
No. It was a different one.
on my first.
Oh no! It was on the Nintendo 64.
64.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was hands down. It was the Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was it for me. That was a whole another ball game, and I remember playing that over and over and over again. I mean, it was an obsession, you know. It was
doing things other games just couldn't execute at all, just couldn't get right.
Exactly. And I can understand, you know, what they mean by the new one coming out with the more open world, because Legend of Zelda, it is, in a sense, go find out, go do what you want to do, but you can't do as much as you would want.
Right.
It's not like a Skyrim.
Yeah.
And I think that new video game, they're talking about really opening it up, and like a Skyrim type thing, like an Oblivion type game, and just going and doing what you want to do.
Because what did they say? So, you don't have to necessarily go to Dungeon 1 to get to Dungeon 2. You can tackle whatever dungeon. If you feel like you can make it there, then go ahead and
exactly.
Go for it. Yeah.
Now, but Zelda's has some great stories. You know what I'm saying? And so, how do you think that's going to affect the story behind Zelda?
Well, I think they're really, you know, you got to give Nintendo credit. They're pretty creative when it comes to tying in the games, because they got a real wild timeline for all the Legend of Zelda games. But I mean, they can introduce a character and play it out to be that new hero, that new Link. And who knows, some people are even speculating that it's Zelda herself.
Right.
You know, and so that's exciting to see that, because, you know, you and don't mean to go off a little bit, but you're talking about
do your thing, baby, do your thing.
You're talking about, you know, you're talking about the females trying to get in, and why don't we have more female characters and a lot of that, and kind of touching base with that. I'd like to see more of Zelda doing action in Legend of Zelda versus quote unquote Link, the hero, doing a lot of the stuff in Legend of Zelda.
They trying to figure out, like everybody is trying to figure out, is this Zelda or is this a new? Because it was whispers like it was a new Link and it might be a new Ganon. It's like, wait, what do you mean new Link? What's the difference between this Link and the old Link? Link is Link. Like what? Look. Yeah, everybody. I think it's just the hype is building up, and people see the game and their eyes wide open. They're like, "Man, I can't wait." It's gonna own me. It's gonna take me
That's
over.
gonna make people buy the Wii U to play it.
Me right now. I'm
that was something I wanted
in the
to
jar
ask
right now.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to ask you, Majelen, is do you have a Wii U, and is this a game that will make you go out and spend, what is it, $400 to get one?
I do have a Wii U. I actually got the Wii U when it came out.
See,
believe it or not.
He a gamer, dog.
Yeah. Did you get the white one or the 32 gig?
I think it was the black one.
So you got the 32 gig then.
Yeah. It was the one that came out. I remember going to Walmart. I wasn't going to go to the crazy extent of pre-ordering, but Nintendo, I think, me personally, I think that they kind of have they don't advertise as much as they should.
Right.
And that's just how I feel. And so I didn't really creep up. The Wii U kind of creeped up on me, and I didn't know anything about it till a couple of weeks before it dropped. And of course, everybody. I waited in line at Walmart down the road, but I ended up snagging one. And they didn't really have that many games out of the gate, but I knew Legend of Zelda was going to be down the road. I knew that you're going to have, Mario Kart and things like that. And that's more my wife. She loves the Nintendo series.
You know what, too? You kind of got lucky because you went and you was an early adopter for the system and they ain't changed the price yet. So it ain't like you went and wasted your money and then like they did with the Xbox, not even a year later. And it's like $100. I could have bought a game and a controller for $100.
Absolutely.
Do you have an Xbox One or any of the Xbox systems?
No.
Sony, baby.
That's
He's a
how
Sony man. Yeah.
PlayStation. I love PlayStation.
Thank you. Just thought I'd throw a little fanboy in there for you.
Hey, whatever you got to do. I just know come, New Gears and Crackdown and Halo, and you be like, "What Davench at? He ain't signed in on his PS4 in about 5 months."
All right, so tell us about your gamer name. Spell it for us so we can get it right and we control you on the PSN network. But tell us about it, where it came from, what it's all about.
Yeah, so Majelen is my gamer tag. I'm, only on PlayStation Network, of course, but it's actually spelled Majelen. And the reason why I started using that is because I was actually, I was in the military. I did some time down there at Fort Bragg out of Fayetteville, North Carolina.
You make it sound like prison. I did some time over at Fort Bragg.
hey, sometimes you feel like that.
They be trapped a little
But
bit.
hey, it was my choice, and I have fun with it, But I was with 82nd Airborne, and I just remember coming into the unit as a cherry, which is what they call the rookies, coming in, and they looked at my name. And they can't say it. My last name is Magallanes.
Oh, God, can't nobody say that.
Oh, two L's equal a Y.
And so I remember my squad leader, he looked at me, he was like, "We're not calling you that." He's like, "We'll call you Majelen."
Dog, that's real cool. When somebody else gives you your nickname, that's awesome, dude. Yeah. That's awesome, man.
And that's where it came with. And the reason why it's spelled like it's spelled is because when they were assigning rooms, when I first got to the unit, I was in the room, and that's how they spelled it. They spelled it. They didn't want to look at my name and try to spell it. They just spelled it like they thought it sounded.
No respect. No respect.
He was a real cherry for real.
So it's a lot easier just to say that, instead of my name, trying to learn it.
Yeah.
When you were coming on the show, I was thinking about you earlier today, and I was wondering how video games how they're played when you're in the service. Is it something that you get a lot of time to do? Is it something that you kind of got to squeeze in between doing other things? Is there a big gaming community just amongst the military?
I mean, it just depends on, I guess, what you are. Someone like Tag, which doesn't really have a real job.
He's actually discharged, man. He's done.
Is he?
Yeah, Tag's out, man.
They gave him free, huh?
Him's free now. Him's free.
But it just depends. I mean, I went infantry. That was my choice, and it just depends on who you're dealing with. A lot of people like a lot of new guys like coming in and infantry, and they like doing the strip club thing and that going to the bars thing, and then you have people like me, which is
Just stayed home and read his Bible. He stayed home and read his Bible all day.
I don't have money. I don't want to get in debt. I don't want to get in trouble. So let me just pick up a game controller.
Man, it's funny you mention that because when I tell people who aren't gamers that I game and I do a podcast, the first thing they do is they kind of give me that, oh, you one of them. And I say, listen, when all my friends were out in the streets and gangs selling drugs, I was at home, man, playing, Nintendo and staying out of trouble. So
tell the truth.
I get it.
Pat Terry wasn't having it.
Yeah, but Pat Terry made sure that we had something to do, though.
Nah,
you know what I'm
saying? She rather know what we was doing, where we was at. Than anything
and I can tell
else.
you some stories about trouble my best friends got in that I'm still friends with today. So I can respect that, man. You're there to do your job, and then at the end of the day, keep your hands clean as much as possible. So
yeah, absolutely, man. And that's where Legend of Zelda, that's why I'm so keen on that specific game. I'm glad you asked me about it, the Ocarina of Time, man, because that game, that point in my life and that game meant so much to me, and that's why I repetitively played it over and over because I was going through... Do you emulate? What's that?
Do you emulate?
That's a big word. I don't know.
Does that involve sheep? I don't understand that word.
Do you own a Nintendo 64, or can you go back and play it on the PC?
I actually do own a Nintendo 64, and that game, even though I have a Wii as well that I downloaded that game for.
How much did you pay? I'm just curious for that. That copy on the Wii. Was it like $10, $15?
I don't even know. Yeah, it's probably lower than that, to tell you the truth.
All right.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure you didn't get ripped off.
No, it's pretty fair. I want to say like a bootlegger out on the alleyway.
I emulate on the PC, and it looked real crystal clear coming through the HDMI on the high def TV. And
that's funny because I do not play that game. I try to play it on the Wii, but I do not play that game unless it's off the 64 itself.
And
I'll break out the adapter 64
too now. They got the
exactly.
Yeah. So maybe you get back into it. That'd be sweet.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we done had this blast to the past, man. Tell us what's in your system right now. What have you been playing last 2-3 days, last week? What has your attention?
Right now, I switched back to Watch Dogs. It was UFC, but now I'm back on Watch Dogs.
Well, tell me about the UFC because they came out with Bruce Lee this year, right? Don't be celebrating, Davench.
Watch Dogs, baby. I told you last week.
Watch Dogs is dead.
No, I told you last week.
I'm going to ask you about Watch Dogs, but tell me some more about this UFC with Bruce Lee. I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan, so this is a game that's on my buy list. But I want to know what you think about it.
Yeah, man. I think it's a pre-order. I don't know. I don't know if you can get it, as maybe an add-on or you pay some more money down the road. But I know it was a pre-order.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to tell you the truth, as much as I played UFC, I'm more into the RPG aspect of it, where I'm creating my own player, and I really haven't played with Bruce Lee yet. You
hurt my heart right now, sir.
Well, you get Bruce if you download the demo. Who's in the demo? Silva and somebody else was on the demo. Bruce Lee was that gimmick, man.
Hey, you hurt my feelings too. So we gonna get off UFC.
Bruce was that gimmick. People want real fighters. Like Bruce Lee was like, but like he said,
you say real fighters?
Yeah, real UFC fighters.
I'm gonna leave you alone.
You was one of them guys went crazy when Fei Long came out on Street Fighter.
Let me tell you something. When Fei Long came out on Street Fighter, I was in there like, what the?
He would put tape over the screen where the name would be, and he would write Bruce Lee. every time you get a tournament, for everybody come over, you play, you switch the controller. He's like, hold on, let me put my tape on the screen first. Be Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
That UFC though, it's nice though, huh?
Yeah, I do. I like it a lot. It's got I actually learned it. I haven't played I played the older ones. I thought it was a little more confusing. And this one, they lay it out and they almost make it kind of repetitive when you're training, and to make you learn that stuff, to make you learn how to, how to counter and how to do these things and block right. And,
it was like more than one way to do the same thing. That's how it felt when I was trying it out.
Yeah, and if you look at like the button list, it's pretty funny because you'll see like sidekick, and then you look down and do it completely opposite way. It says sidekick.
Yep.
There's like 3 sidekicks.
So do you like this version of UFC with EA better, or do you like the other UFC games that came out before?
I
just
like
their
this
style.
One.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this one a lot, and it's just me being a little biased with the new generation systems and a lot more crisp and stuff. But I actually gave it more time to learn it. So I'm maybe a little biased, but I prefer the newer stuff. I like the new and move on.
Cool.
Tell me about the RPG aspect of that game. I'm really interested in how it's set up. Is it sort of set up like the Fight Nights?
It's kind of set up to where you have your character, and what's really cool about this one is I guess if for people who don't know UFC or not into UFC, there's a show called The Ultimate Fighter, which has all these cats, young cats, trying to get a fight for a contract. And they actually put that aspect into it. So when you start in the UFC, you actually have to go through the Ultimate Fighter first. And as you earn your way and fight your way to the top, you fight for a contract. And then you get to go to the UFC title fights, or not title fights, but the bigger shows.
Can you when you make your own character, can you add your own music?
You can add the music that's on there.
Okay, but no custom soundtracks like on WWE or nothing like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You can only add what's on there, what they have on their playlist.
And how is that music? Is it any good?
They got some good stuff. Yeah, me, hey, there's some stuff I like, there's some stuff I don't, but
right.
It's pretty well blended for everybody. It's not one sided.
All right, so you said you was also playing Watch Dogs. Tell me about Watch Dogs. A couple shows ago, we talked about the replay value of Watch Dogs, and I went in on it, because people were telling me, it's boring. I done did everything. There's not much to do. And then Davench, I think last week, came back and said, I'm back into Watch Dogs. It's great.
Never said I left. Never said I left.
I don't even think I'm not buying it. Majelen, I need you to tell me what's going on in Watch Dogs, man. Is this a game I rent, or is this a game I go out and buy?
Well, like I said, I'm in my system right now is Watch Dogs from UFC. And the reason why is because, UFC, you can do a lot, but you get almost a repetitive factor, just like a lot of those type of games.
Right.
And, with Watch Dogs, I haven't beat Watch Dogs yet because I'm really OCD when it comes to games. So if there's a new mission and a part of a map, I have to do everything around that mission before I even want to play it, move on the story.
Yeah, that's hardcore. It's like about 80 hours in Watch Dogs.
I probably have like 100 hours and I haven't gone through half of the mission.
But that's the same thing I said last week, man.
You did say that.
Playing you doing all this stuff and you look up and realize, I'm only on Act 2. Like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on.
Yep,
let me dedicate some time to the story. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I do a well balance. I start when I feel like it's getting repetitive with doing all the little mini things, collectibles and stuff.
You like the digital trips?
I haven't really got into a lot of those like mini games.
Yeah.
I usually do all the collectibles around it. So some of the mini games, I haven't done the digital trip yet, but there's
4 different ones. You haven't did the cash run. The Alone.
I think I did the cash run and it really pissed me off, so I didn't do it again.
It get kind of silly where they want you to get coins between the red skulls, and you're like, maybe I'll come back.
Yeah. But it's definitely it's a game that it just depends on everybody's different, but for me, I'm a guy that if I really believe a game, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
And I would buy it.
Worth the 60.
I definitely think it's worth the 60 for sure. It's got
so
much content. It's got so many things to do on there. And like I said, I've already put in a lot of time and not felt that really repetitive because I can jump back and forth from missions to collectibles to different things. And, I would definitely buy it. Absolutely.
Okay. Is there any other games that you're playing right now or anything else that you're looking to play?
I'm actually looking to play, and I know you're going to be upset at me at this, but I'm actually looking to get the get The Last of Us for PS4 because I did not beat the one on PS3.
Boo! Boo!
You know
now, Mark, what's the problem, baby? What's wrong with him picking up The Last of Us on the PS4?
Listen. I told you how we met, right? We met playing in Battlefield 3. Look, I define Battlefield 3 like this: Epic Squad. That's it. That's it. Majelen, L, Wavo, some other dudes. But Majelen and L, those were my main guys. That's what we played, Epic Squad. Him getting The Last of Us on the PlayStation 4, which I have not bought yet, it hurts my heart.
And you know what I feel bad about? The one thing about our relationship, our gamership, our bromance.
I'm over here cheering up. No.
Is that I bought, you remember I did buy the Watch Dogs. I mean, not Watch Dogs, Last of Us. And I remember over and over, hey, man, when you going to get on multiplayer? Hey, when you going to get on multiplayer? I not once, never have played multiplayer on Last of Us. And I know a lot of people love it, and I think I'd love it too, but it was just, I don't know. I remember what I was transitioning to, or if there was another game that dropped right after it. I think that's what happened. There was another popular game that dropped. And so I didn't even finish Last of Us. And I mean, you know, I see the look on your face, and I know that you're disappointed at me.
I think we have to go to a break, man. I need a minute, man. I need a minute, man. Yeah, so let's go to this break. Let's hit it hard. We're going to come back and we're going to get into our topic of the week. Like we promised you guys last week, this is our Madden 2015 special. So we're going to break down the game. We're going to talk a little bit about Madden history, break down the game, and just talk about what you guys can expect in this Madden. So let's hit the break. See y'all back in a minute.
Man, get out my way and watch out as I come through. Busting in your line, cracking helmets in. I bring the pain, so what you gon' do? Stand there and just get shook out ya. So clean out your locker, I'm out to get ya. Cause I just popped ya. You can't take the pressure. You might as well quit cause you just can't last. Madden 2000, put your face in the grass. And your pride in the dirt, so put on a skirt. If you come on the field and don't wanna get hurt, just bruise and beaten, all black and blue. And it's been like that since Madden 92.
And on that, we're back. Power Pellet Podcast. Topic of the week. This is your co-host, Davench. This is take number 2. We're going to keep it real talk. We're going to get into talking about Madden, NFL 2015, getting ready to come out August 26th.
we laughing, folks, because sometimes when you in beta, sometimes when you're in beta, you create the Madden cone. You know what I'm saying? or sometimes when you're in beta, you put a mulligan in your game. You know what I'm saying? And be like, this was stupid. Let me take this out. No, so. I don't even know where to start, Davench.
Topic of the week. Just want to get into a little bit of Madden talk and kind of going back to the origins of Madden. It came out on the NES 1993. That was the first year a lot of people really got their hands on Madden. We got to talk about football and video games on the home console as the origins. That right. You had the games on Atari, NES. Then you had actual Tecmo Bowl football in the arcades, red versus blue. Move the joystick, you could break the tackles.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, man. Football's come a long way. How you feel about that, Mark?
It has come a long way, man. I mean, I can remember when your player would get hurt on the field and the ambulance would come out and just like run over everybody else.
Yeah. that's like one of the highs, and then like you said, one of the lows was the mulligan. Let me get that play over, please.
There were some lows in Madden, man. Okay, so you know, one of my favorite words on this podcast is innovation and creativity, and Madden, being one of the only football games out there, you know, for a long time, has took some liberties with it. They've put some good things and bad things in the game. You know, the quarterback vision, to me, it was a bad thing that year that it came out. But like you were saying, Davench, during the break, it did bring out some other innovations in the game as far as how you could direct your passes, how much pressure you could put on the ball. You know, you could lob it, you could throw it hard, you could direct your passes to the receiver. So some good came out of it. It's just that for that year, I can remember going to my friend's house to play, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to play Madden. I don't want to use that QB vision. This is dumb.
Or when when they started to come up with, you go from playing Madden on the Sega Genesis, you got 3 buttons. And then, you go into playing Madden on the PlayStation and you got 8.
And so let's talk about that. The buttons was another thing that I think there was a year where the buttons were like perfect. And then the next year they screwed them up because they just wanted to do some stuff. New move a button here, move a button there. I'm like, where's my juke button? Oh, well, you press X now. Or you press circle now to juke or to spin. And I get it. They're trying. I hate video games that try new things just to say we tried something new. And it really didn't improve on the game. And I
just to have that from year to year separation. What they started to do though, they learned. They was like, okay, well now we have the easy mode, right? You can play Madden with using like 1 or 2 buttons, literally.
But is that really playing Madden?
You know what?
That's like coaching, right?
No. You get to hike the ball, pass who you want to. It just allow people that entry. It gives them that easier entry into the series. Who ain't really played from a while ago. Yeah, it is. It does. Even like the play calling, they kind of took it back down to just the 3 plays on the screen at a time. They realize they flaws, right? But at the same time, it's like you said, how do you continue to innovate without, kind of shunning everything you've done before that people liked about the series?
Well, I think, and that's when you lost some of your gamers, especially me, man. There's a couple of things that made me fall away from Madden. The presentation didn't really change. They kept screwing with the buttons. They kept putting stuff in the game when you're taking it out the next. And we were talking over the break, Majelen, how you were saying that you and your friends used to have Madden weekends. You guys were hardcore Madden players.
Yes.
You started to see a separation between the hardcore Madden players like yourself and the people that would just want to get on and say, man, I just want to play football. I want to play with my favorite football player. Yep. You couldn't do that anymore because you would get online and get your head smashed in.
And that took a lot away from like wanting to play Madden online because you would find one guy who would find that one buster team that's got that one Superman play that works 3 out of 4 times, and you like, I'm done. I quit. I don't want to play.
That was me. Right when I got into it, like I said, what was it, 93 when Michael Vick was on the cover?
Yeah.
Guess what I used to do?
Right.
I used to take Michael Vick. I used to cut him out to the sideline where there was one defender. The defender had to choose the quarterback or the receiver, and it was either me running or me passing. A touchdown every time.
I hate you.
But you can't get mad at that because that's got like a little.
I hate you.
That's real close to how it kind of was until everybody schemed to shut Michael Vick down. That's on the defense. You got to call a little bit. You got to recognize. I like that they allowed you to you could double team a guy, right? So you could always double team your quarterback, always double team that superstar player. They kind of started to do things to kind of give defense that little boost, just to even the gameplay out a little bit for them. So you can get mad at Madden a little bit, and then at certain times you can praise them. Last year's Madden, 2014 Madden, was a decent Madden though. Like
it was
like all around, like it was decent. Like you played it and you was like, all right, I'm trying to find out what's wrong. The running felt good. The catching felt good. The defense, that's always to me been the biggest thing with Madden, right? You always feel like you can intercept the ball, but do the guys always really intercept the ball in real life? So they at some point they do have to find the balance just for that year, just to bring it even a little bit close to filling.
Well, I think they tried that this year. And looking at the cover, you got Richard Sherman is on the cover this year, and he was, of course, the Super Bowl MVP for the Seattle Seahawks. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know, how do you Cowboy fans feel about that? You guys good with that?
I don't know.
I just wanted to ask. I'm just all right. And so,
talking about because we haven't been there so long.
Yeah, you guys do know what the Super Bowl is. It's not a dish at a party, right? It's an actual event that
Cowboy fans too busy worried about Tony Romo giving thumbs up at practices instead of actually practicing.
Love Tony Romo.
Oh, God.
I like Romo. He a player, man. Every time he just one of them old school backyard players, man.
He's surrounded by some bums, man. That's
my fantasy team is even loving Tony, no Romo.
Yeah, so let's get into this 2015, man. And so what are some of the things that you want to see. You guys, I didn't play last year, so you guys gonna have to help me out on this. The last Madden that I have is from 12, and they got some dude from the Browns on the cover.
Oh my God!
Peyton Hillis.
Yeah, thank you. Him.
Yep.
He's not even with the Browns anymore, right? He's like in Indianapolis now.
Yeah, I think he was with the Giants last year, and I think he is with the Colts this year.
Is that the Madden curse?
You know, I don't think there's a Madden curse, but hey,
how can you not think there's a Madden curse?
I don't think so. You know, that's just me. I mean,
every player that's ever got on the cover has
just
got
about,
hurt.
Man. Yeah, just
was
about.
it every offensive player or was it every defense? I think it was every offensive player that ever graced the cover of Madden has got hurt.
I think it's the part of the curse that people believe. I think it gets in their head. Oh man, I was in Madden. I'm on the cover. Now all of a sudden, hey, am I going to get hurt? Am I not going to, you know? And you know who I think, and you're right, you know, they're kind of changing a lot of things. And I think who is going to break that curse, and I hope he doesn't get hurt this year, but I think Richard Sherman.
It's over.
But he's a defensive player, so he don't count, though. It's only on the offensive that the curse supposedly live.
Who was the last defensive player on the cover?
Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, for the Steelers. Okay.
Troy, let me head and shoulders myself.
He was deservingly so, man. He was but he was and still is, can be a beast on the field.
So. Wasn't that the dual cover where it had him and Fitzgerald? Was that one?
Yes.
I think.
Yes. You gonna make me ask my production assistant real quick.
Who? Googleina?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the graphics, man. How did last year's look on the new gen systems?
It was clean.
I think it looked...
One at a time, gentlemen.
Yeah. I think it looked good, man. I think it looked real good.
Comparing it to the PS3, how'd it look? It looked pretty good?
Yeah, it did. You know, you always have that new factor, and you get tied down to the graphics and the performance, and you use it so much. Like right now, you know, I couldn't tell you that, you know, what the difference graphic. Well, I know it's a big improvement, but when you're switching from a PS3 to a new PS4, you're going to automatically see the brand new wow factor of it. And I got that opportunity when Madden came out. I got to see it partly on the 3 by, you know, different videos and demos and things. And then I got to really play it on the 4. And it did, man. It really performed. And going back to what Davench said, that game was an all-around really good game. And that brought me back to Madden. I'm like you. I strayed away from it. I felt too complicated when I got comfortable with something. They switched something, and it was just like, you know what? If they're gonna do that, I'll find something else to play. And I dropped it, and I got out of that scene, and just the new stuff coming up, brings me into it. And I got last year's, and I mean, it was fantastic. I really loved it. I think they have some complex things, but they simplified everything. And it made it a lot easier to just jump into it and not have to know every single thing to have a good game.
You make a great point. And I wonder if does that come from listening to your community who has said just what you and I have been talking about? Is like, okay, now I feel like I have to be an actual offensive coordinator just to play a video game. There's so many buttons. It does so many things. The plays are so complicated. You've changed so much. I feel like I'm on my 4th coach. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the team 3 years. Do you think the changes that they make to simplify it came from the community itself griping about this? Do you think that brought it along, or?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, 100%. You know, you can't just have feedback from the people who make it, or you're going to have the same game over and over and over again. And those people complaining, those people like me that are just, hey, man, I'm sure they lost a lot of people throughout the years because of all the changes, all the different things. On top of that, you know, like you said, you almost got to be a coach, a coordinator to play even online, which was a really good aspect of it.
Right.
And I'm not going to get online and try to have fun with people and interact with people. And all I'm doing is just getting slammed, 45-0 every single game.
Yeah. It's almost like you got to put yourself through practice before you go online, which is That's not what gaming is about. Gaming is about relaxing, man, and having fun and enjoying it. You come home from work to play, not come home from work to work. And Madden was starting to get very tedious in doing that. Now, I'm looking online, looking at some of the pictures. I've looked at a couple videos. Not having a PS4, it's really hard for me to see a big jump in graphic improvement, but I'm kind of leaning on you guys in that way. Does the players look real? And when I say real, there was a basketball game that I played that came out that they almost looked too real to the point they were creepy.
Let me jump in on this real quick, because it looked better than last year's, right? Or 2014 looked better on the PS4, Xbox One than 360, PS3, right? But I didn't, because I got gripes about the presentation of Madden. I talked about that with the same referee every single game and the same sideline guy and all that. But when you turn on NBA 2K 2014, it wows you. It
love that game. Love it.
it wows you, and when I want that same feeling, right? I had that same feeling with NFL 2K 2005 when you turned it on and it wowed you. It was crisp. The animation was good. It was smooth. It was new. It was different. I feel like Madden, we're seeing Madden from ideas that they had 2-3 years ago that they're just not getting a chance to put into the game for you to see. And they tell you all the time, they'll have ideas that they just can't implement until so many years later because they're waiting on the programmers to figure out the technology of the consoles, and they can't do this and they can't do that. So and a lot of people complain, like, some people are like, well, don't give me a new Madden, just let me pay for an updated roster or something like that. But right, and in theory, it sounds good, right? Let me see a Madden take 2 years and go work on a Madden. So it's almost like, wouldn't it be a good idea for EA to just invest that extra money and put Madden on a 2-year cycle with 2 separate teams? You're still getting a Madden every year, but you're getting almost a game that had 2 years for development time as opposed to 1 year. Well, it ain't even a full year. It's like 9 months or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
They don't get a lot of time to be able to, innovate in the series, make the graphics look that much better, that leap to leap, year to year change, especially like NBA 2K, man. I know it's a basketball game and it's different, but it's still a sports game, right? So you still looking at these players' faces, the body, the jerseys, the animations, all of that stuff kind of falls in line to that overall presentation. And Madden, like, if you can rate that on the scale, like from the last 5 years, they're like a 6 to a 7. As far as being able to create that progression and just the graphics and visuals of the game and the series.
Well, I was reading, and Majelen, you can hop in anytime here. So I'm reading about Madden 15, and they're talking about how they went and they watched some NFL films. Now, if you're a football fan and you watch NFL films, it's amazing, man. The way they give you the behind the scene interaction with the players and the music, and they break down plays for you. It's great to watch. And so they went and they used NFL films to improve the presentation of this game. Have you guys had a chance to look at that, look at any of the new things that they're bringing into this game, as far as like the pregame is going to change, the halftime show is going to be a little bit different. I don't know about the broadcast. Are they changing the people who are doing the broadcast this year?
It's the same team. It's the same guys. Supposedly they have a new script though. And I don't mind these guys. It's fine. That's okay. I like the CBS presentation. I like what they did a little bit better than what they did when they had a chance with the ESPN style presentation. The ESPN one just fell kind of flat. CBS, I love their theme song when it comes on. Dun, 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 dun. You kind of get like that I'm watching the game type of feel. Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. Majelen, you can go ahead because I'm getting frustrated with Madden thinking about some of this stuff.
No, man. I think, like you said, man, 2014 was great, and I think it was a really good concept. Especially, I think they did fairly well with the whole transitioning to a it's into new generation systems. And I think they're really, we're really going to see what they can do, because this is the first Madden that's, they had a lot of time to work with the new generation systems instead of just trying to convert it over. And, from the things that I read, the time that they put into it, I think they were talking about down to commentary. I think they did like 80 hours of like scripting and voicing.
Wow.
And things like that, because you do get that repetitive thing. Tony Romo, interception, you know what I mean? And it's like the same way they say it, the same thing, the same type of animations, and you start getting a repetitive factor.
Yeah. And I just don't understand how the animation, because they finally added that true motion. Was it 2013 they added true motion where the tackles were supposed to be dynamic and the way the characters kind of bumped into each other was a more dynamic.
Yeah, that was the year.
and you had like the rubber band.
Yeah. They should have
the wacky welling inflatable arm man.
They should have just purchased that technology that had came out like a couple years before that did the same thing but did it better, and they used that in that 2K came out with a football game, but it was like 2 or 3 years ago, but it wasn't a licensed NFL game that had that technology in it. And I thought, man, before they even used that, I was like, that was a good opportunity for Madden to do that.
I thought that was being used, that collision technology was being used in the hockey games, wasn't it? Isn't that where
it was
came
football
from?
First? They had like the gray looking characters, kind of just showing you like, just tech demos of it and stuff. And I'm like, when Madden came and brought theirs out, it made the collision kind of goofy a little bit that year, which made the running a little bit goofy. The running kind of felt a little rubber bandish, a little jellyish, like you almost couldn't get a good. It did. It honestly did. Like, but I was like, I loved it because I love running on Madden, so it just improved my running game a whole lot better. But I don't know. We'll see. You see all the videos and they talk a lot of hype, and you see that every single year. And it's one of the things where it's just like, okay, it's almost like you got to wait till you get your hands on it to really see. And that's what I always like, though. They do come out with a demo every year for you to try it out, and you can say yes or no, I'm going to get it or not.
Okay,
I think this year, though, I'm feeling pretty like I felt last year. I didn't buy it last year, but I rented it. But I think this year, second year on the new gen, let's try it out. I think I might buy it, man. I'm feeling pretty confident about getting this.
I'm buying it for sure.
Yeah.
There's just not only just learning about the stuff as we go, but on top of getting ready for this episode, I mean, there's some stuff that I just read about that is just blew me away about what the things we're tired about. We're tired of seeing the same ref. Signal the same thing over and over.
They're changing that.
They're changing that.
Manager.
They're changing transitions in and out of timeouts. They're changing the spotlight plays. They're changing the way all these. They're having, I guess, a new a dynamic. What is it? Player sense, which is
player sense 2.0.
Yeah. Their new dynamic, thing. And for what I've seen, I mean, it looks really good. And I think just that overall, not feeling repetitive, not seeing the same thing over and over again, I think that's going to take this game to another level, to where you're just more immersed in it versus just game after game after game.
That's interesting, Lenny. I was reading about the players since 2.0 as well, and it was talking about how the players will adjust on the field, how the quarterback will adjust in the pocket and things like that. I've always struggled when it came to sports games, and 2K is famous for this. When you play against the AI, or the computer, as you call it if you're old school, the computer cheating. You play these games, man, and you get creamed by the computer unless you put it on easy, and then you cream the computer. I've never been able to find a game where you get that good balance or that good challenge. It's always seen one way or the other.
Well, they had the solution to that, though. They had the sliders, right? You can go in and you can control it, though, right? What aspect you feel like the computer?
Isn't that cheating?
It's not.
Majelen, don't you feel like adjusting sliders are cheating?
I'm a big fan of starting something and finishing it all the way through. I'm not a big adjusting fan at all. If I start it and it's medium and
game after game after game, see you 0-16 in that season, and you just refuse to dial that one slider down.
Let me take it to another level. We're talking about game by game here. All right. let me try to play on regular, and if I get creamed, then let me use the slider and get try to do it. But I want to be challenged. I agree with Merc. I don't want to just go in there and go 16-0, which Cowboys will do this year.
All right, so listen. Let's take a break, and when we get back, let's talk some more about the new play calling system again. I feel like I hear this every 3 years, but when we get back, let's talk about the new play calling system. Let's talk about their tackling mechanics, which is new again. You know what I'm saying? And so we can pick up on there. Take us to the break.
All right, we'll be right back.
Ready, down, hut.
Back, a little short break. Power Pellet Podcast, still talking topic of the week, Madden 2015. AkimboMerc, you want to talk about some of the play calling they got?
Well, yeah, they got this new play calling system that's coming out, and I cringe when I hear the word new, because it seems like every couple years in Madden, like we were talking about before, they approve upon something. You can hear the inflection in my voice. But this year they have a new play calling system, which they kind of got this all new crowdsourced play recommendations. So if you're in a situation that other players in the Madden world have been in, you can get an idea of what plays they've been running, which is kind of interesting. If you're not a big football head, you know what I'm saying, and you're looking for the best, looking for some help, I can see where that is can be an advantage. But then at the same time, as Madden veteran players as ourselves, when you're playing online that some people are going to call 4 wides when they shouldn't be, or they're going to run a play on 4th down when they should be punting. So I think that is going to be skewed a little bit. So, and I think that could be detrimental to you if you're not really a football player or a football fan. So just picking on that a little bit.
Yeah, going into that, I mean, I kind of the overview of it is I think they're replacing that. They're replacing the Ass Madden with that, with that thing. And, now you got a kind of previous play, and that kind of helps you determine how you executed. And it actually ties in when you're online to how that play and how other people in the community success rates and things like that, which kind of, incorporating a little bit more technology. But they also have a plays by concept, which is, hey, if you want to go the fade route, they actually say, hey, these are the plays in that concept, in that fade. If I want to fade somebody out, hey, here's where I'm at. If I want a screen concept, what are the screens? And then you go back to previous play, and that'll tell you success rate of the community. And I know that's tying in a lot of different things at once, and it might sound overwhelming, but it's just one of those, hey, when it comes out, we'll see what happens and see what people like and what they don't.
Okay, so right now my head is spinning.
Let me make a point real quick.
Okay, go ahead, because my head's spinning right now.
on the play calling, I think one of the things that they have to kind of get back to and change is they need to take away the fast play feature on Madden, where instead of you having your normal, is it 45 seconds or 30 seconds? Yeah.
Yes. Where
it fast forwards some of the time a little bit after you call a play. It actually screws the pacing up a little bit to me sometimes, especially if you're the type of player that likes to get to the line and call audibles, or you'll call a hot route for your receiver, or if you want to change the blocking from your halfback. They should kill that, because when you go online to play, some of that still stands, especially for the matches that count against your regular score. You know what I'm saying? For your ranked matches, I think that affects the play calling a lot in the game too.
Well, that's what go ahead, Majelen.
No, I was just saying, just to, kind of, say what you're saying or agree with what you're saying, is I think there's certain elements that should definitely be taken away, that it won't ruin the online modes like that. You're definitely right. Whenever I'm ready to roll and I got, 40 seconds left, and now I get to the line, I have 10 seconds left. I mean,
that's the worst. That's the part that sucks the most.
How am I supposed to set it all up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why my head was spinning, because, all right, so seasoned player, or, not a seasoned football player, and I have 45 seconds in between each play in NFL, or is it just 40 seconds?
It's 40, but it's a lot. Until they
it's not a lot. It's not a lot. 40 seconds in the heat of a game is really not. How many delayed games have you seen in the real NFL? Because they just can't get the plane.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me, as Madden, I'm sitting here looking at my screen, and I don't know how all this is going to work. And I'm sure they've tested this and they've worked it out. But okay, so I got a suggestion on my screen that says, this is the play that the community ran. This is what Madden is saying you ought to do. You got the coordinator in your ear. He's telling you what you ought to do. Hey, Majelen just logged on. He says you need to run this play. I feel like there's almost information overload in 40 seconds. All I want to do is pick up this 3rd and 8. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you add all that, and then you add the fact that, okay, now I've picked the play, and now you've just taken 20 seconds away from me because you're trying to speed up the pace of the game.
Yeah.
Dude, unless you play the game religiously, and I just don't have the time to play it religiously, I'm going to always feel like I'm lacking in my skill if there's something I have to deal with.
And it makes you not want to continue to play that game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why the way I used to play Madden was I get off work, I spend the 30 minutes, give me a quick game of Madden in. I never wanted to do it online, though, because I always felt at a disadvantage. I didn't play it as much as somebody who spends 4 or 5 hours a day playing Madden online.
It's the only game they have. Yeah.
And it's like
just move out of your mom's basement, go get a job, and do something for society. You know what I mean?
I'm like,
instead of looking at the leaderboard and saying,
So I tend to stick to the franchise. That's one thing I do. I do want to see them bring back just franchise mode. That whole other stuff that they have going on, the owners mode and all of this, and it didn't feel right. Just bring the franchise mode back, bring the online franchise mode back, simplify that. Remember we tried to run the online franchise, Merc, probably like 3-4 years ago.
Yes,
it just felt a little messy at certain points. It was too long in between games that people had to play, and and
that's where I was going with it next, the leagues, man. And so one year, me and all my Call of Duty friends, we got excited about Madden. Everybody went out and bought their copy of Madden. We said, we're going to put a league together. You pick your team, play your games when you're supposed to play, and it happened for maybe 1 week. And so then you had the commissioner of the league. He was pushing weeks now because cats weren't getting on. They weren't playing their games. That's what I want to see, is a way to improve that. If I go online and I own a franchise, or I'm in a league, how can you get people online to play their game?
I don't think you can. Yeah, I don't think you can.
I think you have to just set that appointment window, right? You should be able to set. Each game you should be able to set, like, if you're running the league, you're commissioner of the league. I think whether it's 4 people, 6, 8. You set league rules, right? All right, y'all scheduled to play this game on that day. If it's not played by that day, we can make it every Saturday night, Sunday night, whatever.
But here's a problem that we ran into. And you ask me, Majelen, you can tell me if they fix this. If I miss my game, maybe against the computer that week, I'm the Bears playing against the Dolphins. You come back the next week and the Dolphins creamed you.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, wait, what the heck happened here,
But you got a whole week, though. When we played, you had a whole week to play that one game. So within that week, you couldn't find, you just got to balance it out. But like for
no, I couldn't find 30 minutes.
Nope. Yeah. So matter of fact, Hold on. Let me edit this league right now. We're going to kick you out right now.
You'll take me right out of it.
It's different from player to player. You could set that appointment up, but if it's on you and it's you against the computer, then you got to figure that out on your own.
Yeah, and I think that's, what's funny is you're bringing that up is I am a commissioner for a fantasy football league.
Right.
And just getting people to pay, just getting people to respond to you after giving a month deadlines and things like that. Yeah. Some people just, their lives overtake them, or they just say, yeah, well, it's just a game and it is what it is. And I think there's no real way to fix that, because if you just don't have people who are invested anymore or who want to spend that time, then that's what ruins it for everybody else.
You got real life players getting paid buku bucks who don't want to show up for practice and all this, want to show up an hour before the game, take a nap, don't have time, your little cat nap. When they offense on the field, they want to go take a piss, and they ain't want to shit before. Excuse my language. They ain't want to use a washroom. They ain't want to use a wash. But you get the point. You get the idea. You got people getting paid to do this, and they almost can't get there on time. And now you got people just doing it for leisure. And especially if you're the commissioner, obviously at that point you taking it a little more serious than everybody else. You trying to get the play. Yeah. So you can't fix that. I think what you do is you just leave it up to Madden, right? This the league. It is what it is. If you there, you playing for your team. If not, computer playing for you.
All right, so the big thing in 2015 is something we talked about at the beginning of our review this year, and it's all about defense. Richard Sherman is on the cover. They are now focusing, finally, on defense. They're trying to make it where, okay, as a gamer, you can decide if you want to make an aggressive tackle, if you want to make a conservative tackle. They got actually, they're calling it the tackle cone. I'm going to pause there.
They bringing the cone back.
Yes, thank you.
What a soft tackle, hard tackle,
just
tackle them.
I feel like tackling them. I might put the hit stick on them.
Right.
But again, they're messing with our buds. They're giving you a choice. I don't think I played football ever since I was old enough to put a helmet on. Even before then, I played football. Nowhere during my 18 years of playing football, because I quit after high school, did a coach ever tell me, when you tackle that dude, make sure it's conservative? He always told me, follow through, blast through that dude, finish him. So can somebody, Majelen, please help me out? What the heck is a conservative tackle? Is that when the kicker tries to tackle somebody? What is a conservative tackle, man? I don't get that.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to say, hey, listen, if you want just a straight tackle and to be conservative, hey, just a tackle. If you want to, and just let's make a stop on the play. Right. I think that's what I think there's just kind of wordplay there. And then you're talking about the aggressive tackles. And I think that's where you have a little bit more risk at doing that. And guess what? Maybe that risk pays off if you hit them right where you need to.
You get a fumble or something.
Get a fumble, or you get, the ball moving around where someone can create a fumble.
Right.
And if you risk it and you miss, then guess what? That dude's skidding down the sideline, touchdown.
It's almost like using the speed boost just a little bit too early and you miss your cut.
Yeah, and I think that's really where they're talking about, conservative versus aggressive. I think they're just saying, hey, listen, you could just tackle and you're fine, but do you want to roll the dice and take a little bit more risk, put a little bit more kind of hit stick on it and reap the rewards? Or
so it's the same thing then. Wait a minute, right? It's a regular tackle and a hit stick. So now you're not calling it hit stick anymore. You're calling it a regular tackle, conservative.
Tackle, I'm looking
There's
here
3 tackles?
They call it hit stick tackles.
Okay, so it's a conservative tackle and a hit stick tackle.
Yeah, and a aggressive tackle combined. Look, listen. This is what it says. Aggressive.
Light kick, medium kick, hard kick, low punch, high punch. Like, what is going on? I just want to hit the guy and stop him.
Yeah. Blow in their face. Listen.
That's like with basketball. You like, hit this and do this and you'll always lay up, or do this and you'll always dunk, and your guy don't never always dunk.
Oh my God, he never dunks the ball. He makes that stupid Sideways layup,
Too
dog. It
much
never gets the and one.
unnecessary. Just use the attributes of the player. If the player hit hard, he hits hard. If he's good at stripping while he hits, he has a tendency.
Let me read this to you. Let me read this to y'all. It says,
my gosh.
Aggressive tackle combines both dive and hit stick tackles. Oh my God.
You trying to rip the dude head off? That's like a penalty tackle.
Well,
you can't use that tackle on punters or quarterbacks.
But do you remember when in Madden, when the hit stick was just the dive button?
Yeah.
You either ran over and squared up with the dude, or you dove and that was it. Yeah. Now you're telling me they have an aggressive tackle which combines a dive button and a hit. You know what? This game is too difficult against for me.
Because they throw all these features.
They're losing me, Majelen. They're losing me.
I think they're simplifying, though. And just hear me out real quick. All right. So, doing a little bit more research into it, you actually have the options depending on how close you are to the defender, if you can aggressive tackle or if you can, do conservative. And, they really boiled it down to 2 hits. Either you're going to do conservative, wrap them up, take them down, or you're going to do aggressive, roll the dice and risk it. And that's really what it boils down to. You have 2 types of hits.
I'm rolling my eyes over here, man. This is ridiculous.
It is. And it didn't need to be fixed, right? Because it was always, if your guy's close enough, he'll automatically tackle him. If you want to take that chance to dive tackle him, to stop the play maybe a second sooner, you can try that. Dive tackle, a little more risk. Then you still had the truck stick, where you can, smash that guy, hopefully cause a fumble. Or he can reach in, get in his pockets and cause a fumble. It sounds like all they're doing is taking that same concept and they're rearranging the terms. Maybe they did some behind the scenes fixing with it, but it's almost like pseudo packaging. They're just relabeling it because it's just another dot on the back of the box, right?
I think what they're doing is they're taking away, instead of you having 3 tackles, they're down to 2. Either you're going to go conservative or you're going to go aggressive. They took away, whether they took away the dive or the hit or whatever, or combined them. Yeah. You either have 1 button for conservative, 1 button for aggressive.
And that's what I'm reading. But I mean, and I understand that they want to give the defensive person more decision making. I don't know if it's almost too many choices, man. A tackle in real football, and I want to talk to some real football players, that NFL players, they'll probably tell you, I could have blew through him. I could have just made the tackle. I guess you do see it on the field sometimes, but I never thought of it as being a conservative or an aggressive tackle.
You almost have to think about what kind of tackle. In a game like that, it's a lot easier in real life to make that judgment call as opposed to you having to hit a button specifically for that action. Only time I can see it good is if, like you said earlier, Majelen, where you don't maybe you want to tackle that guy, but you don't want to hit him so hard he knocks out of bounds, right? So then you have to do a conservative tackle. I think the game should be smart enough to make that decision for you. Well, obviously, you don't want to knock this guy out of bounds, so you just pull a stick a different direction away from out of bounds to make that character almost pull him in and tackle him at the same time.
It's funny you say that the game should make a decision for you because that's what Madden has progressively been doing is taking away the decisions from the game and giving it to the gamer. And in doing so, I think they've complicated the game like we talked about. And they've made it a little bit harder for your average Madden player. Yeah.
But if they didn't have this, do you not think that people would complain and say, "Why don't I have more decisions? Why do I have 1 button to hit? Why can't I have an aggressive and conservative?"
Yeah, but aren't these the hardcore players that cream you when you get online? So I don't know, man. I guess if you're Tiburon or whatever, you're probably sitting back shaking your head like, what do we do?
It's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, what do we do?
Damn you do, damn you don't, right? You want to change it, but then you change it and people go, "Oh, why you change it?" And then if you didn't change it, people go, "Oh, why didn't you change it?" I'm not going to buy the same game. They can't win. And that's the hardest thing. And that's kind of why I said earlier, just make 2 development teams. Give it the same lead, right? Mm-hmm. But give it 2 development teams. That way you give them time to flesh out ideas and really think things through and give it the proper testing as opposed to just letting everybody who always goes out and buys that copy every year, test it for you to see if that feature works or not, and if you're going to keep it for next year.
And kind of frog leap it, right? Like you said, two separate. And this team's working 2 years, and this team's working on a 2 year, but just staggered. So still one game drops every year.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I do on my cell phone plan.
That would change a lot with Madden.
Wait, he just said he does it on his cell phone plan.
Absolutely. I have mine and my wife's cell phone.
Okay.
And hers is up on 1 year, and mine's up the next. And guess what?
Smart.
I got a new iPhone every year.
Woo!
Yep.
He using brains.
Ballin'.
Yep. All right, man. So let's get on to the next feature. And this one I'm really excited about. And they're calling it War in the Trenches 2.0. Oh. So I'm gonna brag a little bit about myself here. So I played defensive tackle, nose guard, linebacker. I played defense. I didn't play offense except when I was younger. I played as an offensive lineman, but that's because I was bigger than the other kids. I hated it. I wanted to hit somebody. I wanted to go after the quarterback. I wanted to cream folks. And playing Madden, that's what I do. I get the nose tackle, I get the tackle, and I try to rush the quarterback every time. I like being down in the trenches, but I always felt like all I had was the swim move, and it didn't always work. I mean, it felt like it never worked. You know what I'm saying? And so now in the trenches, they give you more options. They give you the choice to do the swim move. They give you the choice to do the power move. But the greatest thing I think they're adding this year, they give you the choice to disengage. So now I don't feel like I'm trapped with this offensive lineman in front of me. I can shed him like you see in real football.
They always
get to the play. They gave you the option where you could pull away, which you always did, but there was this almost like this magnet that would happen when you engage the offensive lineman. And now they give the option to shed that blocker, and I think that's perfect.
Does that make the O-line character that much dumber? I don't understand. I think they just naming features to name them, man.
I think that they're trying to, because I feel, and this is just me personally, but I feel that when I'm playing Madden, that all the fun and excitement's on the offensive side. Mm-hmm. And I feel like what they're trying to do is say, hey, well, why can't we give the defensive side more options? Why do they have to be? Why does the camera have to be on the offensive side? Why can't it be on the defensive side when I'm playing defense? And that's what they're changing and what they're engaging. You know, they're saying, hey, well, we're going to give these guys some option and balance it out as well.
Exactly. Right.
And I think that's where you get to Richard Sherman on the cover talking about getting into all these defensive things. Mm-hmm. And that's just how I feel. I felt like it was always more offensive, one-sided. In defense, you're just trying to stop the ball versus being as fun playing defense with a little bit more options and a little bit more things.
I could see, because I used to always try to play with Julius Peppers I always felt like he was just underpowered compared to his stats.
And that's the example they're using here is that Chris Long, Julius Peppers, J.J. Watts. Now, when you use these guys, you can actually, because they're some of the better players in the league, you can shut a block. You can go make a play like you would see when you're at home on your couch watching it. But it's interesting. We talked about Majelen exploiting Michael Vick earlier. Yeah. But now, when I used to play against cats that would exploit Michael Vick or Randall Cunningham or whoever, and I tried to play that defensive end, there was just no way I could get off my tackle and shut that corner play down, that end around or whatever it was, shut it down. Now they're saying in the game, you can disengage from that lineman and actually contain a play like that.
I wonder how successful that would be.
And I think it's depending on the angle, because it would be unfair to disengage and go around them.
Right.
But
like
if
every
you're
single
disengaging,
time,
and if you're disengaging and backing up or moving to the left or right, that's more feasible than just undo it. Hey, move over and let me sack your quarterback.
Right, shutting the block every time. Right.
Yeah, I think that's the element they're introducing to where it's not going to be unfair to where you can disengage and run around the lineman. I think you have to disengage like real life, back up or move over to the side or finesse or swim or whatever, and try to contain or sack the quarterback.
So, all right. So, the next thing they talked about is catch variety and passing accuracy. And I don't want to get too much into this. We've seen Madden tweak passes and interceptions ever since the game has been developed. There was that one 1 or 2, maybe 3 frustrating years where as a defensive back, the ball would hit you directly in your hands and then you'll drop it.
But what's the saying on that? If he was good enough to catch the ball and intercept it, he'd be a wide receiver instead.
Well, yeah, but when you're a gamer and you feel like you you're DB for a reason, son. It is true, but in the video game aspect of it, if you feel like you made a play, you read the play, you broke on the ball perfectly, and you were there to make the interception, why should I almost feel like I'm being penalized because the player on the field is a bum?
That's exactly why you're getting penalized. It's because guess what? He's defensively superior, but whenever you scroll down and you look at his catch rating, it's a 0.
But as a gamer, I made the play. I jumped the pass. I'm there. Let me make the interception.
And I think that's where reality and kind of the RPG aspect is because hey, they got a lot of fast dudes and they got a lot of things that they can do and get in front of the ball. But hey, guess what? Some people just can't catch.
They're bricks for hands. So the other thing they kind of tweaked a little bit, they added some catch varieties and they also fine-tuned the pass leading, which I'm interested to see. That's always been a little bit hard for me, man, because I just feel like I'm gonna throw a pick. But again, that's just you kind of grinding and learning how to control it, almost like using a new gun or learning how to snipe in a first-person shooter. So you just have to practice that and keep playing it and to get better. Yeah. I don't know, man. Did you guys want to get into the player ratings? There were a couple that I heard about, which again piqued my interest, like Matt Forte, for instance, being rated a 95. My ears went up, man. I was excited about getting in there and using this guy.
You know what's funny, man, is and I talked about this every time I talk about fantasy football, man. Right. I just feel like Forte is so underrated for what he does and who he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's just plain and simple. The guy is just like, Vincent Jackson. He's the same type of guy. He does so well and does so many things so good.
Right.
He just, he's just not that. Guess what? The team around him is so good that he doesn't shine like Adrian Peterson would. And I'm not stacking these guys up against each other. I'm just saying, Forte was on the Vikings. Guess what? When Forte still played like he did, then he would be all-star, popping out, the shining star of the Vikings. But the Bears, they got Jay Cutler. They got Alshon Jeffrey. You got Martellus Bennett. You got all of these superstars who can play, and he just doesn't get the rap that he is. And I'm glad, for him to get a rating and to actually, they see that and see what he's done.
So let's just talk about the QB ratings. And listeners, if you want to go out and find out some of the other ratings, they're releasing ratings on each group of players, linebackers, outside linebackers, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, fullbacks, every week or every day or something like that. Just go to the EASports.com website, Madden website, and you can see the ratings. We're not going to get into them here, but I did just want to kind of talk about the most valuable position on the field, and that's the quarterback. And so who do you guys think, with your eyes closed, your hand over your eyes, is the top-rated quarterback in the game?
Tony Romo.
Okay, so we're going to set that answer to the side.
What did he say?
Tony Romo. We'll come back to that later.
Let's be realistic and just say Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning's got a hands-down B.
Yeah.
And it's not because his name, it's just who he is. Yeah. He's just an elite pass. I mean, he's an elite passer.
Best to ever play the game at that position?
The best to ever play the game. I think that I think we're very lucky to see him in our generation.
No, sir. Yes or no? I need you to nail it down. Best to ever play the game. If you say no, I need you to give me your best. So yes or no?
No.
Oh. Who's the best?
And I'm being a little biased here, and I'm going to say Roger Staubach. That's what I'm going to say. And it's a Cowboys. It's a Cowboys move, okay. And it's just because the story behind them. That's all it is.
Davench, can you?
That's all it is.
Can you raise our grandfather from the dead? Because I have no idea who Roger Staubach is.
Come on.
Do I have to do a seance and bring back somebody from like the 20s? What am I? Who?
No.
Roger?
For me that I can remember that I enjoyed watching is Steve Young.
Over Joe Montana? You guys are killing me.
Listen, you didn't hear what I said.
Me.
You did not hear what I said.
I don't want your opinions.
I said from what I can remember, what I remember watching. I don't remember watching Joe Montana play football.
Okay, that's
so for me, it's Steve Young. I was a little sad. I knew Joe Montana because he had a video game. I was like, oh, why he ain't playing no more? And here's the Steve Young guy, and then the Steve Young guys out there dominating. You like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you bring a good point, man, and so do you, Majelen, by bringing up Roger Staubach, which is a great quarterback. I'm no disrespect. Yeah. I think you almost have to go generation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's why I feel Peyton Manning is.
Yes.
And I think if he plays out, whether he goes to Super Bowl and wins it or not, I think that he will be considered one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback that's ever played the game. And
he's so smart at his position.
Exactly. Right. He's such a general, and that's where that term came from. He is the true field general. He could sit back there and pick apart your defense before the snap of the ball.
But see, and that, to me, and that's the one thing that separates him from Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Tom Brady. He is mentally, I think he's above them. Skill-wise, yes, Aaron Rodgers, yes, Tom Brady, yes, Brett Favre, whoever, they can go out there and make those plays, use athleticism. They can make things happen. But I think Peyton Manning can do those things. But mentally preparing for a game, controlling a game, he does it. If
absolutely.
Yeah, if I had a quarterback that say, you pick a quarterback to save your life, it's Peyton Manning. I put my life on Peyton Manning before anybody else. And that's no disrespect to Tom Brady or Rodgers. I'm trusting Peyton, at the end of the day. Yeah. And just to kind of go back to keeping it on Madden 2015, he is rated a 98. They got Rodgers rated a 90. They got Rodgers rated a 98.
Oh, gosh.
They got Drew Brees coming in third at 96.
Mister, I want to play till I'm 45.
And now this is where I think they fell off. They got Russell Wilson at 93.
I agree.
Is that
I don't know why. I'm going to let you. I don't know if you want me to jump in and say why you disagree.
But I'll tell you why I disagree. Then you can just tell me. To me, this is almost a 5 or 10 point Super Bowl bonus.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's just because it was a whole team effort, period.
Yes.
And that's how I feel. Russell Wilson, he's got a really good background. He makes up with his mind. He makes up for his lack of some physical attributes, being a little shorter. Same thing with Breeze, but he's really smart.
Right.
And he can make the plays and he can extend plays. But like you said, I think really he should be down in the 80s. And the only reason why he is here is because Seahawks won the Super Bowl.
He is. And now here is where man should be ashamed of themselves. There is no way in heck you give Russell Wilson a 93 and then come right behind it and say Tom Brady. How do you say Tom Brady is a 93?
I think it's really based on last year, which wasn't. It's not Tom Brady's fault for what happened last year.
It's not. You're right. I've seen.
And I think that's where we get into the ratings and things like that, is because you have what they've achieved, but then you have a factor. I don't know how they do the ratings, but you have the factor of what happened last season. And I mean, it's not his fault that his receivers were really new to the game,
Right.
And hey, if I guarantee you, if the Patriots won the Super Bowl, guess what? He wouldn't be a 93. He'd be a 97, 98.
And it makes you wonder how much of this is stats and how much of this is what happened in the games that they played from last season.
Okay, so we went over the ratings. And 2K14 does as well. What do you guys, let me rephrase this right, I'm sorry. Do you guys like the fact that the ratings are dynamic? So as the season goes, your player ratings go. So for
the online rosters,
for the online rosters. How do you like that?
Yeah, I do, because it just keeps the realism to this game that's supposed to be a simulation game. So when you go to play online, your favorite player, hey, he hurt this week, baby. You ain't nothing you could do about it. So now, you got guys who, now they got to change their game plan.
Yep. Yeah. Now you got Orton in there throwing a pick to end the season. So what do you want me to do?
Hey, on that note, we're gonna take a break. Give Majelen the chance to to calm down a little bit. Oh, this is such a beta show. Hey, welcome back to the Power Pellet Podcast. This is your host, AkimboMerc. We talked about Madden, man. We talked a lot about 2015, some of the new changes we're seeing and stuff like that. Let's wrap this up. The last thing I want to talk about as far as Madden is you've been called in. EA has set you down at the big table. They said, listen, we're preparing for 2017, but we want your input. What is something that you think can make Madden better? You've played it all your life. Give me one or two things that would just say, listen, you guys got to put this in the game. This is going to be a hit. Majelen, you the guest. You get to go first.
I'm going to throw it out there, and I'm just going to hit this one point. Superstar mode. And the only reason I say that is because I feel like they got something, but the way that people want to play all this competitive and all these different innovations, they're leaving that factor out of it. And one thing that I really, really liked, and one of the best games that I've played basketball-wise was 2K14, because I felt that I was that player. I got excited, I got ups, I got downs when I was going through the season, and I feel like superstar mode or creative superstar, whatever they call it now, is kind of getting left behind. I think they could pull in more people to do a more RPG and not make it so robotic.
Right.
Give a good storyline, get a lot of different variables in there, do a lot of things like that. And that's where I feel like they should not take over the game and go that direction. But if they got that, either work on it or just stop teasing me about it, you know?
There was a game with Kobe Bryant on the cover of it. It was a basketball game. NBA, I think it came out in like 06 or something like that, where they introduced that superstar mode. 2K14 picked up on it where it lets you do that. And I want to say the NCAAs did it too, where you would come from out of high school and go on to college and become a player at a position or something like that. So Madden doesn't have that.
Well, it just doesn't have the fact. Like, I want to get in depth. Like, say, hey, here you are. Let's do some. I don't know how they would do it, but
you want to be drafted? Is that it?
Yeah, I want to go through the. I want to go
like
through
a storyline to it for your.
Well, I mean, look what 2K14 did when you did. I don't know if you ever played.
I played it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have that. I think they can do that for Madden. I think that you can have that kind of storyline type factor. I think you can, do something with the combine that helps you draft, just like 2K14.
Right. Get
in there, get drafted. I don't think you should have an option to actually choose where you want to go. I think like 2K14, I think you can talk to a couple of teams, and that might help you depending on what you say.
Right.
And I think that you should be able to get that type of stuff. And that's why I really fell in love with 2K14, is because that's what I've been wanting Madden Superstar Mode to get. And it came out there, and I was shell-shocked because everything I wanted in that, it was a basketball game. Not to say anything bad about basketball. It's just I've been waiting for EA to take Madden and do that same thing.
Right. So, I think that's a great suggestion, man. And I'm like you. I love the RPG element of 2K14. I remember the first year they did it, it was a little static. It was hard to improve your player. Then the next year they made it a little bit better. And so I've yet to play the 2K14 and see how it's improved. But I think that's a great idea. What about you, Davench?
I would like to see just a complete franchise mode, right? Where you can kind of take it back to what they used to do. Start from the ground up, create your team, create your stadium.
LA needs a team.
They had it one year, and I had made a team and moved it to Mexico, and I was like, "We in Mexico, baby, playing football."
Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. Yeah,
but, just give me where I can total control over my players. I don't need superstar players, but let me make a bunch of creative players like you used to be able to do on Tecmo Bowl style, right. And then, like you said, have control over the players, make your own playbook, franchise. You control the stadium, how much you charge for popcorn, pop, all that stuff. Bring all that stuff back into the franchise mode. Just make it a little bit more fun. That way I feel like I can come back and I have this quote unquote team that I have to manage.
You own it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they own the show.
Yeah, because sometimes they have franchise mode where it was just you playing the season, but you couldn't do a lot of the extra stuff. And then they had an owner's mode. They was calling it the owner's mode, but you couldn't play the game. You were literally just as an owner. It just kind of
so you
merge
want that
it
whole
together.
All around.
Yeah,
just
keep it simplified. Like, ask me, what do you want to do? You want to control this aspect? Let me get the checkbox. Yep, I want to be able to do this, and this, and everything else. Just kind of cut it out. I don't want to see it. Don't have to worry about it. Let the computer manage it. Let the computer worry about drafting. If I don't want to worry about the draft, that way I could feel like I'm playing a game that's just nonstop. Make it worth my while. And then if I want to play online, I can go play online.
So you don't want Madden 2016 like that. You want like Jerry Jones 2016. you want your hands in everything.
Well, if that food could have robots,
you got them picking cheerleaders.
But that's like that to me. That would have that huge RPG element to the football. Right. If I feel like I want to tone it down and not control literally everything, I have that checkbox that I can uncheck.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then that way I feel like this is my team. These are my players. These are, characters I basically. Yeah. What the franchise mode, they had one franchise mode that lets you do all of that.
Right.
And, they changed and moved things around. And I just like to see them go back to that. And to me, that was the basic of what franchise mode was, because they still had a normal season where you could just play the game and that'd be it.
All right. Well, my turn. So, as I was bragging on earlier, man, I've been playing football. I played football for the majority of my life. Actually, now I do the math.
You've mentioned that a lot.
Yeah, I know. You got to relive it, baby. What should have been out there on the field? I can still hit that Heisman pose on you. But man, wouldn't it be great if you got online, and I think 2K does this, and you're able to get online, and I can play that defensive tackle with 10 other users, and we're playing against 11 other users on another team. So you playing that real backyard football like we used to play growing up. You know what I'm saying?
Like a FIFA element.
Does FIFA have that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They had it with Madden. They did it like a year or two ago.
But I mean, every position, so I can get 11 friends and we could be a team and play against other teams. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not just a couple positions, but.
Well, they did like 7 positions, 7 players or something like that. But I get what you're saying. You and 10 other people and y'all controlling that'd be kind of goofy on the TV screen. See everybody kind of spread out in their own way. Ain't nobody following the playbook when the ball is out.
But would it be? Because
it'd be hot. I think it'd be hot though. Team,
you can cut some fools that don't want to run a route. Or if you got a lineman that just keep jumping the count, dog, we gonna bench you. But how awesome would that be? And kind of piggyback on what Majelen was saying. You can almost be your own superstar at that point. You can say, "Man, I'm the star receiver for such and such team. I got a game tonight." You know what I'm saying? I got a game tonight. Just that would be,
like,
to me, man.
Games.
Yes, that would be excellent.
You almost want like a massive multiplayer style for.
Why not? Isn't that the next movement for this? Isn't that what we do now with first-person shooters?
The World of Warcraft of football.
Yeah. Where you're a team and you can sit here and say, "Here you are. Here's the training that I do to improve my particular player." Build them up, and then all of a sudden somebody says, "Hey, you want to run in this pickup game?" Or you get drafted to a team for a year, and that's your team for the year. I think that would be amazing, man.
Yeah, that'd be tight. Any other final points on Madden before we move on to the rant?
No, that's it, man. Let's move on to the rant. Magic Man, you get to go first. Get it off your chest. Anything that's been happening in the gaming, movie, television, comic book world that's pissed you off. You didn't see it. You're upset about it. It don't matter if it's old or new. Just get it off your chest, man.
You know what I'm sick and tired of hearing is people already bashing the Ninja Turtles movie.
No, wait a minute. You're supposed to bash the Turtles. What are you doing?
No, I'm sick of the people bashing the Ninja Turtles.
I know. I was one of them.
Just so you know, the guy on the other side of that camera you looking at, he was a basher. He had a bat.
Okay, folks, that's it. That's the end of the show. I want to thank Magic for coming on. Thank Merc for coming on.
Don't worry, Majelen. I brought him back, baby. I showed him the new trailers. He was loving it. I brought him back.
You did, man. I'm being rude, man. Go ahead and finish your rant.
But all I'm saying is, listen, people I get it. Michael Bay, he does this excessive. He does that. But listen, you want to sit here and tell me that the first 3 Ninja Turtle movies were good? No. If they weren't made in the 80s and 90s, those would be trash movies. Those would be Netflix movies.
Oh.
Period.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Rabbits.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying is I have nothing against the Ninja Turtles. I love the Ninja Turtles. I got a whole shelf in my nerd cave with Michelangelo Ninja Turtles.
I gotta see this cave, man.
I gotta see this cave too. You gotta post some pictures or something. Man.
You got Battletoads?
No Battletoads.
Not really. We ain't got no Battletoads.
But all I'm saying is, listen, you want to sit here and say, Michael Bay is going to mess this movie up and that. Listen, he can't do no worse than the first ones. The first ones are great. I love the first 2. Right. They bring that nostalgia feeling. I love watching them. I love. We even watched them a couple. Last weekend. Even watched the 2 new ones. I mean, the 2 older ones. The first 2. And it was great. It was really good, corny, cornballish type movie, and it was awesome
for its time. Yeah,
exactly for its time. Yeah. But if people are saying, "Oh, well," they're trying to say that, "Oh, well, he's going to mess up the movies and mess up."
And it's not even Michael Bay, man. That's what be killing me.
His name is on the title.
He not directing the movie, though. Oh.
And a lot of people, hey, there's technology. He's going to introduce some technology. But what I really do like about that is that they're bringing the creators of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on board. They're hands-on in the project. But that's the biggest part of my rant, man. I'm sick of hearing people trashing stuff before it comes out. That's it.
Yeah, what was it? Some figurines that they were using for the movie, and people flipped out. Everybody's like, "This movie gonna be garbage." Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Give it a chance, man. What are you gonna do? I mean, you got these guys in these big rubber suits where their mouths only make 2 emotions. Back in the 80s and 90s, Yeah.
And man, people was coming out of Comic-Con and they was loving the new clips that they was showing for the Turtles movie. So
the stuff I was seeing is I'm all for it, man. I'm ready to get in, and I'm just tired of hearing all these people, putting down this and putting down that. Dude, it's the Ninja Turtles, man. If you're a fan of the Ninja Turtles, go watch it and shut up. That's all I'm saying.
Great rant, baby. Woo, He hit it. He wrapped it up. I can't even come back on that. I'm with you. We've heard it. Let's get to it. I'm ready to see it like you. Let's do it. How about you, Davench? What's on your chest, baby? If you got to look for it.
I do. Yeah, I don't have one. I'm good.
You searching for it.
I'm good. I'm reaching at this point.
I don't have one either, man. But I do want to thank Majelen for coming on the show, doing this Madden 2015 special with us. It's been excellent just having you on the show, just talking and hanging out with you, man. I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, man, it's been a while.
Yeah. So it was really good to see football season's coming up. This is our time of year. Yeah, and so got The Last of Us coming out. And so I'm going to get my PlayStation 4. We're going to hook up again. We're going to get the old gang back together.
Yeah, man, you definitely got to show me the ropes on that. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, man, I really appreciate you guys, bringing me to the show. I know I was a little butthurt, having tag. I wanted to be the first person on.
Well, first official temporary co-host.
I want to be the first official. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you know what I mean? You want to get someone like Tag, whatever. I can't. I love Tag, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, no, it's fun, and I hope that you guys do bring me back. I had a great time, man.
I'm not sure if you're gonna be back. We gotta see the rating we get on the show, so we can't make it a promise. It's official.
If we don't exceed 1 million downloads, you ain't coming back.
I don't know. Plus, you tried to outshhow us with that mic you got and everything, so I don't know. No, just joking, man. Great to have you on, Davench. Oh, yeah. It's been another great show. This one ran long, man, but we had a lot to talk about. A lot to cover,
too long in the end of things. It just
don't disagree with me on the hair, so don't do that.
Do some housekeeping, man. Come
on. Yeah. So you can find the Power Pellet podcast on YouTube. There, you will now find shows 1 through 11, and this one will be coming out soon as number 12. If you want to talk to us, there's a Power Pellet podcast group on Facebook. Come there. We drop the latest updates on video games, movies, and things like that. You can talk about some of the articles that we talk about, even some of the topics we cover in our show. It's a good place to go there to discuss gaming news. Also, Twitter, we're there. iTunes, we're there too. Stitcher, we're there. Podomatic, yep. So I think we got you covered. There's no place that we aren't.
I did a search. I felt pretty good, man. Power Pellet podcast and everything came up. I was like, So you could just do a general Google search and you'll find us.
Right. I'm the handsome one. That's Davench. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real, baby. Let's just keep it real. I didn't want to say I was a pretty one, but borderline. Majelen, do you want people to know where you are?
Yeah.
Is there somebody looking for you that you don't want them to find out about you? If not,
I don't think so, man. I really don't. I mean, I could be wrong, but who knows?
Right. So again, give them your PlayStation name. They can send you dirty messages.
Yeah, PlayStation Network name Majelen. That's Majelen, and I do have a Twitter account. It's Majelen, spelled the same way, @Dimension_C137.
Oh my God, that's worse than Davench's Twitter account. Lord.
Speaking of, you can reach me at Davench Tunami, DAVENCHTUNENAMI on Twitter.
Crooked letter.
I'm also on Instagram under that same handle. Look. Power Pellet Podcast, baby, episode 12. We just want to thank everybody for listening. If you're on the YouTube, thank you for watching us. Hopefully we can get a new, fresh episode out to you next week, episode number 13. We appreciate everybody taking their time. And all our listeners, don't forget to rate us on iTunes. Any last words, gentlemen, before we get off?
Rate us on Stitcher, too. Thank you.
Power Pellet Podcast. Thank you to our temporary official co-host of the week, Majelen. You did a good job, sir. We appreciate you. In my opinion, you are welcome back at any time, regardless of what AkimboMerc says.
Man, you are the better looking one.
Power Pellet Podcast. We catch y'all next time. We out.